today we're going to take what we did yesterday and build upon it. So we're going to need a triangle. And let's see, that triangle.
What is this?
Circumcenter, orthocenter, and centroid.
No, both.
That's what it's called. Doesn't have a number. If you want the number, no number. Sean, what do you want to call the triangle?
I like it.
Okay. Aiden, where's L?
4 -6.
Ricky, where's C? You see it.
9
And where's T, Abby?
5, 6.
Okay, not the most exciting numbers in the world, but that's okay. We're going to draw a little triangle here. Again, this triangle is just purely for reference. LCT. And for you guys, let's do the orthocenter. We're going to find the orthocenter for this particular triangle. So first thing we need to do is we need to review an orthocenter. Kaylee, what's an orthocenter?
The point of concurrency between the altitudes is the orthocenter.
Okay. So I need to find the altitudes. You know what the next question is, right? Give you a second. What's an altitude?
A line that is perpendicular to one side and passes through the opposite vertex.
Okay, there are 3 of them for this triangle. I'm only going to find 2. Does that make sense why I only need 2? If I've got 3 of them, they're going to intersect to find a point, but I really only need 2, so why do extra work? Noah, which 2 do you want to do?
L and T.
L and T. Okay, so doing a quick sketch here, I'm going to have one that comes through like this, perpendicular, and then we'll have one that goes from T, perpendicular. Okay, just for discussion purposes, what do you want to call these 2 points?
E and F.
E here, and you said F?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then we'll call the orthocenter O. Pretty clever that way. All right, so the process is simple. You did the altitudes yesterday. All we're going to do is repeat that process twice and then find the orthocenter. If I know the equation of those 2 red lines, how do I find the orthocenter?
Find the point of an assumption
How?
by substitution or elimination.
Good. Okay. So we need to find the equation of LF and TE. What are the 2 things I need for the equation of a line, Matt?
Slope and point.
And a point. Very good. Do I know either one for, we'll start with LF. Do I know either one for LF, Matt?
L.
I do know L, so I've got the point. How do I find the slope? Matt? Any ideas? No? Amanda? How do I find the slope of LF?
You do the opposite reciprocal of CT.
Beautiful. We'll start by finding the slope of CT. Go ahead and do that, please. I'll wait. Drew, what do you have?
-3/4.
-3/4. Do we agree or disagree?
Agree.
Agree. I think we agree. How'd you get that, Drew?
I did y2 minus y1, and then x2 minus x1.
Be specific.
Like 6 minus 3 and 5 minus 9.
Okay. So Amanda, if we know the slope of CT is negative 3/4, what's the slope of LF?
4/3.
Well done. We know a slope, 4/3. We know the point, L, so therefore we can create the equation of that line, this first red line. It would be y plus 6 is equal to 4/3 times the quantity x minus 4. That's important, so I'm going to put a green rectangle around it, because I'm going to need that later. Any problems with that process? There shouldn't be, because that's what you did yesterday. Now we're going to repeat it again for TE. How do I find the slope of TE? Slope?
You find the slope of LC and do the opposite reciprocal.
Beautiful. Find the slope of LC, peoples. Check my work there. 9/5 and then the opposite reciprocal, negative 5/9. Are we good? Okay, excellent. And then it passes through the point T. Notice in this particular problem for the Orthocenter, we know nothing about the points E and F. They're not midpoints. They're nothing special. They're just the point where that altitude hits the line. The only reason they have names is because we want to be able to refer to the line, so we gave them names. But again, there's nothing special there. And that comes about from knowing the properties of all these centers. Okay, so using that slope and the point T, I get y minus 6 equals negative 5/9 times the quantity x minus 5. And that's my second line, so I'm going to put a box around that guy. Now I'm going to use that to solve for O by solving a system. Is everybody good with this before I move on to the next slide? Yeah. Okay, good. Okay, what were those equations?
Y plus 6
Y plus 6 equals
4/3
times the quantity x.
minus 3.
Okay, there's one of them, and the other one was?
Wait,
Which is
minus
four.
four.
It's minus
Minus
4.
4.
Ooh, whoa, bad information. That?
Yeah.
Hot diggity. What's the other one?
Y minus 6 equals negative 5 minus x plus 5. Minus 5.
Whoa.
Minus, oh, minus 5.
Oh boy. All right, we're solving a system, and you denote a system by putting the brace around it so that we know what you're doing. How are you going to solve that system? Yo.
I'll solve for y in one of the equations, and then plug it in for y in the other equation, and then solve that for x, and then plug it into the other.
Hot diggity, this is going to be fun. Abby, would you like to solve the top equation for y or the bottom equation for y? Bottom, beautiful. Okay, so converting this to slope-intercept form, i.e. solving for y here, starts by y minus 6 distributing the negative 5/9. Negative 5/9 x plus 25/9. If you're not sure if that can be simplified, put it in your calculator. 25 divided by 9, math, enter, enter. If it gives you 25/9, it can't be simplified. I know it can't be simplified because the only thing that goes into 9 is 1, 9, and 3, and none of those go into 25 except 1, which would be ridiculous. We don't even need to talk about that. Now add 6 to both sides. Y equals negative 5/9 x. If you're a little shaky on fractions, then use your calculator. To use your calculator, you would do 25 divided by 9, enter, plus 6, math, enter, enter. When you do that, it turns out that you get
79 over 9.
79 over 9?
Yeah.
Oh, this is gonna be fun. Okay. We good so far? Any problems? Abby, you good with that conversion? Now you see what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, distribute first, then move the other thing over. And the fractions will normally, especially for the Orthocenter and Circumcenter, get pretty ugly. So if you're not good with fractions, use your calculator as much as possible. Now I'm gonna take this mess and bring it over and put it in, which one did it, we solved the bottom one, right? Yep. Right there. So we get negative 5/9 x plus 79/9 plus 6 equals 4/3 times the quantity x minus 4. Wow. Fun times were had by all. Couple routes that you can go from this point. You can work with the fractions if you don't mind them, or we can get rid of all the fractions. However, if we choose to get rid of the fractions, I'm going to distribute the right side first. So I get negative 5/9 x plus 79/9 plus 6 equals 4/3 x minus 16/3. This one actually might turn out to be not too bad because they have 3's and 9's as denominators. Do you want to work with fractions or get rid of them? Get rid of them. What should I multiply everything by to get rid of them? 9. Good. If you have trouble with that, in other words, if you're going to have trouble multiplying the ones on the right by 9, then multiply everything by 3 first, then multiply everything by 9. Okay, just multiply by all the denominators. If you want to do it in 2 separate steps, you can. However, we should be able to just multiply it by 9. So I get negative 5x plus 79, 79 plus 54 equals 9 times 4/3 is, that's 3, 12x minus 48. Is that equation solvable? How do you know? You just had a feeling that it was solvable?
One factor.
One
Factor.
No.
One
Say it again.
variable.
Say it again.
One variable, very good. One equation, one variable should be solvable. So we get 17x. 79 plus 54 is 133. Plus 48 is 181.
Yeah.
Oh, I lied. It is going to be ugly. 181 over 17 equals x. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Check to see. That doesn't simplify, does it?
No.
No. Okay.
17 is
Yeah, but I didn't know if 17 went into 181,
alright.
which it doesn't, because 170 would. Yeah, it doesn't. It would go into 187. But who cares? Now, the easy way to find y. Take that number and store it in x on your calculator. So this is how you do it. Over on the left-hand side, there's a button that says STO on it, STO. Store that into x. You have 2 ways to get to x. One way is the key that actually has an x on it. It's above the store button. However, at the top, you'll see the mode button. Are you with me? The button below the mode button says x, theta, t, and n on it. That's also an x. Why do so many of you look confused? Are you with me or no?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Then take 181 divided by 17, stow x. And you can store it into whatever variable you want. If you're solving the equation for y, store it into y. If you want to store it into q, store it into q. Any letter of the alphabet you can store it into. The nice thing about that is the calculator now knows anytime it sees an x, it's going to put this nasty number of 181 divided by 17 in for x. So all you need to do is go back to the home screen and type this into the home screen. So parentheses, negative 5 divided by 9, close parentheses, x plus 79 divided by 9. You probably don't need the parentheses here, but it doesn't hurt to stick them in there. And that's going to equal y. So when you're done, convert that number back to a fraction and tell me what you get for an answer. Answer?
No
Question?
So for the bottom, or for like where you just input that in the parentheses, it's x minus 5. And then where did you go from there?
X minus 5 where?
In the original problem, I'm confused about this shrinking part.
This?
No, in the problem.
Here?
Oh, you used the section.
Yeah, I didn't do anything. I just showed you how to type it into your calculator.
Okay.
It's the same function as that. Answer?
I don't know if this is right, but
Give it to me.
I got for fraction
Yeah? Yeah, exact answer.
negative 21,463 over 153.
And that doesn't simplify at all. You sure? Can somebody confirm that? We can't. You got 2? May I?
Not two
Are you working? Go ahead.
perfectly, but 2.862754009.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I got that.
181 divided by
Fraction, I got 146 over
17.
51.
I think
All
there's
right, everyone
a-
got that.
How do you-
146 over
Cassie, did you-
51.
Do
That's the money number right there.
Math.
one.
I know everything.
Yeah.
2.862745, blah, 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 blah. Math, enter, enter.
146 over 51.
146 over 51. Let's go.
How did I screw that up?
Is it positive or negative?
Positive.
146 over 51.
I see
Yep.
now.
Hot diggity. Question?
Sugar point.
Wait, hold that question for a second. Now, we need to answer the question. The question is, where's the Orthocenter? That should be given in the form of a point. So it's O is located at 181.17, comma, 146.51. All right, question.
Wait, so did you just plug in x for the one at the bottom, the equation at the bottom, and then you add 6? What?
What are you asking?
What you did with after you found x?
I stored it in the calculator,
Okay.
and then I plugged it into this to find Y. Actually, I had the calculator do all the work.
So that's the
I see what you
Orthocenter.
mean. Yeah, I understand.
Yes. It's so funny that you mentioned that because your brother asked that question right in the middle of the lecture yesterday also.
It's because our aunt does that. and
I
we're
understand,
really
yeah.
interested.
Irony of all ironies. There you go. And you can see the numbers are nasty. But there's no reason why you can't get this answer exact every time because you're going to use the calculator to do all the nasty work. Now obviously if you don't have a calculator, it's going to be a little nastier. In fact, it'll be quite a bit nastier, but still doable. If we go back a slide to when we started the problem, a couple things to consider. You'll notice when I'm solving the problem, everything is clearly labeled. Okay? I've got a picture drawn. You don't need a picture, but I find it very helpful. And everything has a purpose, and you know what everything is. In fact, I did get a little sloppy. I would probably want to do something like this over here, just to make sure that you followed that. And then this was TE,
Okay.
just so you know what everything is. Everything needs to be followable, if that's a word. In other words, I have to start from the beginning and be able to make sense of all your work. Don't make numbers appear out of nowhere. I want to see the slope calculation set up. I want to see the opposite reciprocals. And then obviously the equations of lines. Once you get those. Then when you progress to the system here, it should kind of make sense. Now, if someone just walked in the door right now, they'd look at this and be like, what the heck happened here? But it does follow some little bit of logic here. We took the second equation, solved it for y to get this. Then we took that y value, plugged it in over here, which then came down to that. Got all my work for x. Then I took the value for x, put it in there for y to get y, and then I get my final answer. And if you're feeling saucy, you can put a box, or I should say a rectangle, around your final answer. Okay, wasn't that fun?
Very fun.
Good, you gotta be able to do that for all three centers. Orthocenter, circumcenter, centroid. Question?
For the slope of LC,
Yes.
so you take the opposite reciprocal
Yes.
of what it would be.
Let's go back. For the slope of LC, I found the slope of LC, then took the opposite reciprocal to get the slope of TE. Because these are perpendicular, they have opposite reciprocal slopes.
Okay.
So over here, we found the slope of LC first, and then flipped it over and changed the sign to get the other one.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Question?
When we're doing the altitudes, for, like, will we ever have to find the other points? Like, will we have to find E and F?
No, you could if you wanted to. You could write the equations of the other lines, but it's not necessary information. They're just labeled there so that you can refer to the lines as altitudes by their names. If you didn't want to label E and F, you could just call it TO and LO. It's the same thing. Okay, somebody else, Benny.
Do we need to use like the medians?
For this, no, that's an orthocenter. You'll need to use the medians for the circumcenter. I'm sorry, for the centroid. And you'll need to use the perpendicular bisectors for the circumcenter. Thank you. So I'm going to cut you loose in a second after I stop this recording. And I did add a couple thing to Schoology. First of all, I